What's up, guys? It's Techno Viking 23 coming to you today with some Raid Shadow Legends, and today we're going to be doing a bit of a showcase for a pretty cool Void Rare champion, Stitched Beast. Kind of a fun champion I really wanted to bring some attention to in this game because he has a skill very similar to one of the most sought after Void champions, and that is Coldheart. And that on his A3 he can do a 100% turn meter decrease, which is really handy for both the Spider's Dungeon and also for the Fire Knight. So what I did here, I actually substituted him in on my Spider 25 farming team. This is usually a 15-second team with a single Coldheart in, basically just to use her Heart Seeker to keep the Spider from taking a turn, so we can get her burned down a little bit more quickly. Now, Stitch Beast is going to have one little issue here where he does have a 4-turn cooldown on his A3. Even with the Renegade reset, it's going to be kind of hard to get back to that pretty quickly. So we've put some gear on him to kind of help get around that, which we'll go over at the end of the video. Basically, it's just refresh accessories. I didn't have a reflex set to stick him in. We just kind of put him in some perception gear to hit the accuracy, but we'll take a look at that toward the end of the video. But kind of a fun rare champion, and I know it can be really awful when you're pulling voids and you get like that 10 pull of all rares and it just looks like it's all lost and all trash, but there are some, diamonds in the rough here and there, and I feel like Stitch Beast is one of those, and he's not really talked about that much. Now, on my free-to-play accounts and my earlier challenge accounts that I've done, I've actually used him at level 50 in the Fire Knight dungeon. He's really good because he's got the 2 hitters on the A1 and the A2 to help with the shield, and then he's got the 100% turn meter drop. He got resisted there, as you just saw, but usually that will hit. We got 3%ed, as usually tends to happen when you're trying to showcase champions. But this run still goes off with a pretty good time here. I think we got close to 18 seconds, I want to say. With the burn, yeah, there we go with the 18 seconds. So even with him in for the Coldheart, we're still able to hit a pretty quick time, even though we did miss the turn meter on that one. But he's a really good champion if you're early game and your mid game you happen to get him from a Void Shard. You don't have to put much gear into him, just make sure he's got some accuracy so he can land that turn meter decrease on the Fire Knight once you get the shield down. It can be really helpful for getting through the earlier stages of that, helping you progress up on your account. But I wanted to bring him in more of an in-game situation here, where obviously he's going to be helping us out with a level 25 dungeon, because he can sub in for Coldheart. You're just not going to get the extra damage. So I know a lot of people, even a couple years into the game, still haven't pulled a Coldheart, and you don't have the ability to reduce the turn meter that you would normally get with her with some of your other champions. So I thought Stitch Beast would be kind of a fun alternative to highlight and show that you can bring him in some higher level content, and you could probably even use him in Fire Knight 20, especially since he's Void Affinity. You're not going to have to worry too much about those weak hits. But you can see here, 47 seconds. Again, it's nothing crazy. It's not our fastest time of 15 seconds, but it's still under a minute on Spider 25 if you're trying to build a team to farm it. The team we use here is basically multiple HP burners, and then the Sissia Detonate with Renegade. Dropping our cooldowns back, because unfortunately on this account I'm 2.5 years into the game and have still yet to pull a Prince Kymar. While I have 2 of him on my free-to-play account, I'll never understand how it works. I've even got a Rotos on that account. I never pulled Rotos on the main, so that's just the way the luck works. But again, if you're looking at those Void champions, you pull those rares, you want to look for a Stitch Beast or a Renegade or a Coldheart. You've got all kinds of cool options there. But it's pretty awesome. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I also managed to get a 5-star Awakening on him, so I kind of felt like I just had to build him out just because that was the best Awakening I've pulled so far on my main account. So I figured, hey, let's see what we can do with Stitch Beast. Let's take him to 6 stars. I think it was the last Clan vs. Clan. I took him to 6 stars just for fun, and then we went ahead and put the Awakening on him there. So that's a look at him in Spider 25, more of the end game there, trying to show that off a little bit. But let's kind of go over, we're going to shift back into Spider 20, where he can also help you if you are trying to progress. And what we've done here is we put together a bit of an off-the-wall team. This is a team that I used to use when I was still progressing my own account. Obviously didn't have Ultimate Death Knight yet at that point because he just came into the game. I brought him in here because I just love using him as a spider tank. He just makes this dungeon very low maintenance, just with his ability to tank so well for this. But the team I used to use, it basically was Gorgorab, Ultimate Galek, and we're bringing Ultimate Galek in here because our boy Soda Dragon talks a lot of crap on this guy, so I got to bring him in and show that he can at least be useful somewhere. Although I don't suggest building him unless you are absolutely desperate for Orc Faction Wars or Spider HP Burner, which is what I was on my main account. I actually did need an HP Burn champion for the Spider Dungeon. I had terrible luck pulling any. All I had was Ultimate Galek, and I was having a lot of trouble farming Spider 20. I wanted to move into that stage where I could farm it at a reasonably decent time instead of having to just get through it in 4 or 5 minutes. And so what I thought about was, Ultimate Galek can do the AoE HP burn. However, he does need an attack up buff on him to make that go out. So what I did before was I actually ran this team with Gorgorab, and I had Sir Nick in it. So what would happen was Gorgorab would put up the attack up, and then Ultimate Galek would put out the AoE HP burn. And then we'd have Sir Nick and Syl the Drakes basically to protect the team. And I think I had a single Coldheart in that team just for the turn meter, which is why we brought Stitch Beast in here. He's going to fill that role of taking down the turn meter on the Spider. And Ultimate Galek, unfortunately, is a bit inconsistent with how many HP burns he actually does land, even though he's strong affinity here. But that was the way that I had to do the Spider back then, and I got it down to about 1:30. It was a pretty consistent team. We had the attack up go out, and then we had the HP burn come in from Ultimate Galek, and then it was just basically surviving while the Spider babies did all the work for us. We brought Seeker in here just because I had him already at a faster speed than my Ultimate Galek. I had to pull Ultimate Galek out of the vault, don't tell Soda Dragon, and actually put some gear on him so that we could get him into this role to get him working. But I thought it would be kind of cool to showcase Stitch Beast in this role as well. So a lot of people will use the Coldheart on the Spider 20. Obviously for the enemy max HP, she's amazing at that. You can get down to a 7 or 8 second team if you have her. I have a couple of her built for that. This was taking a little while, so we kind of skipped ahead to the end just to show that it was a complete run there. We'll do one more run after this that goes a little bit more quickly. Galek was just having a hard time landing his HP burns on that last one, but we'll see how he goes here. So there you go. Seeker's going to come out. He's going to go ahead and put up that attack up. We're going to get a stun out from Syl, which is going to help us control the Spiderlings a little bit. There we go. We got a little bit more of the HP burn out, so we got the debuffs going. And then Stitch Beast did hit a refresh proc, which is really good. He's going to help with that turn meter. Ultimate Death Knight is basically here just to tank the Spiderlings. Hopefully you did get him. If you're playing the game after his promotion wore off, hopefully you can pull him from a shard, because he is an absolutely incredible legendary champion. I'm so glad that Plarium gave him to us for free and with a pretty interesting kit. To me, he's like the best spider tank in the game now, even ahead of Drexstar Blood Twin, just because of all the utility that you can do with him here. Not saying Drexstar is bad. Drexstar Blood Twin is amazing, but Ultimate Death Knight has kind of taken over, I think, is a more consistent tank for the Spider. He doesn't have the HP burn, obviously, but the fact that he can just take so many hits from the Spiderlings and let the rest of your team just do their job, it's pretty cool. So again, here's Spider 20. We just put together kind of a run-of-the-mill team here with Ultimate Galek as the HP burner. Now, if you're using Stitch Beast here in this capacity, this would work out a lot better with a more normal HP burner. If you have like a Tyrant, Ixelmore, or a Mordecai, even a Walking Tomb Drang, who doesn't need the accuracy on his kit to land his HP burn, Sissy, a Flame Tongue, pretty much any of the AoE HP burns can pair up nicely with Stitch Beast here. If you don't have that Coldheart in your roster. So that's kind of why we wanted to come in here and just show this off a little bit, because it's kind of fun to always take a minute to kind of have fun with some of these other compositions in the game. Once you get to end game, you're kind of set in like the same 9 or 10 champions you use for everything. So I like to do content like this where we use champions that we don't normally feature. And like I said, I don't really see much talk about Stitch Beast, and he's actually a pretty solid champion. He's got the weekend, he's got the 2-hitter on the A1, the A2, and of course he's got the 100% turn meter reduction on that A3, which you just have to really figure out a way to cycle through that more often, whether it's giving him the reflex gear, the relentless gear, the refresh accessories. Obviously you can pick up a couple masteries that'll do the same things, or if you compare him with the Prince Kaimar, that would really be the best and most ideal condition, since you're going to get that full reset down. Obviously Yumiko works for that too, but I've never been lucky enough to pull her either, so don't really have much going there for me in the reset department other than Renegade. So there you go, another successful run on Spider 20. It's a pretty consistent team, just a little bit slower, but again, just wanted to showcase that turn meter reduction for Stitch Beast. So let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at his kit, take a look at his gear, and we will move on here Alright guys, so there you go. There is kind of a fun look at Stitch Beast, another rare Void champion that you can kind of substitute in for Coldheart if you're looking for something to do that turn meter reduction. I thought we'd look at his build really quick here. Now, it's funny because really the only reason I built this guy out was because I got the 5-star awakening on him and said, why not have a little bit of fun? We'll take him to 6 stars. We'll try him out. See if he works anywhere in the game. Now, early game, this guy can be a really solid Fire Knight option as well. You only have to really take him to 5 stars for some of the early stages of Fire Knight, and that's because he's going to offer you a 2-hitter on all of his attacks, basically, except for the one that's here on the turn meter. So you'd basically just be using him to help bring that shield down, and then once that shield is down, to help take away the turn meter here. Now, this basically does the same as Coldheart's with the 100% decrease. It just doesn't have the enemy max HP damage, obviously, which is why Coldheart's a bit more of an attractive option. But I wanted to use this guy just to show you that you can sub him in on that, even on that Spider 25 team. He's very helpful there if you just want to cut that turn meter down to prevent the Spider from getting off a heal. I did go ahead and do his masteries. I'll give you a look at him here. We just basically were doing whatever we could to try to reset that cooldown, and that's also why we have all the refresh accessories on him here to try to get this this A3 back as often as possible, since it is on a straight up 4-turn cooldown. Then you got Renegade's going to knock that down a little bit, but it's also helpful if you can put him in any kind of refresh accessories, maybe even a reflex set if you didn't want to go just the route we went here, which is kind of just a little bit of perception and the 2-piece fatal set. His stats really aren't anything crazy, even with the awakening. We did get 300 attack from it, which is kind of nice. Almost 4,000 attack, 40k HP, 2,200 defense, 201 speed. We got him crit capped, a little bit of crit damage on him, and basically just the accuracy to make sure we're landing that turn meter drop on that A3. So I just wanted to kind of take a look at this guy. Kind of a fun champion. He's a Void Rare. I feel like he's overlooked a good bit. A lot of the Void Rares are honestly kind of garbage when you pull them. It feels bad when you get a full 10 pull of Rare Champions when you pull Voids, unless obviously you get the Coldheart or like a Reliquary Tender or someone like maybe this guy here that might be able to help your account out a little bit. So I wanted to kind of highlight him, especially since we got that awakening on him now. We can have a little bit of fun. Maybe go and do some Fire Knight with him, but the fact that you can use him on Spider 25 and still get under a minute, pretty decent time without having that Coldheart doing that extra damage is pretty cool. I like that he can just come in and sub for that, and still we got a couple of really fast times even on Spider 25 there. So hope you guys enjoyed this look at Stitch Beast. Again, just kind of having a little bit of fun with the content. And like I said, if this guy is on your roster and you're an early game or mid game player trying to get to that Fire Knight, he can also help you out a little bit there. Even if you just take him to like level 50 and give him some decent gear, he'll be able to hit that turn meter reduction for you. And again, if you want to try him on Spider 20, he works there as well. As always, guys, if you have any questions about anything in the video, feel free to leave them down below. I'll do my best to get you an answer as soon as I can. As always, hope you're having a great day. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you again next time.